First tip, if I can teach you how to not pay tuition, answer the following question. If you don't pay tuition, what costs more, in-state tuition or out-of-state tuition? What's 0 times a real number? Okay, good. Okay, good. So stop doing that in-state, out-of-state thing. That's keeping you from building the right list of schools. If you don't pay tuition, what costs more, private school or public school? Then you need a mix of public and private. So you're hearing me on this, okay? If you're going to look nationwide, don't be falsely thinking you're going to pay tuition. PhD students don't pay tuition, okay? So one of the things some of you need to do is decide to quit fooling around and go for the PhD. By asking yourself, by trying to save money, you're costing yourself money, okay? So think about that. The other people who do not pay tuition are A-list students who apply to B-tier schools. Why? Those schools are buying increased rankings. So, you could have gotten into Harvard Medical School, but here I am at Tulane Medical School, and we're going to give you a free ride. Okay, so I'm rising in the rankings by giving away tuition. You with me on this? Okay, next, let's talk about other people who do not pay tuition. People with assistantships do not pay tuition. So you know about some of the assistantships, like teaching assistantships, but there are literally thousands of assistantships on every major university campus. So part of applying to graduate school is to ask that grad program, when and how do you choose your graduate assistants, and what do I need to do to get one? Okay, you want a graduate assistantship. There's all kinds. Don't think just teaching assistantship. Tons of different ones. I'll give you an example. I know some of them are not very academic. A guy who was the audiovisual technician for a new building, and he said, everything works in this building, and the faculty know how to make it work. I don't have any duties at all. I am paid 20 hours a week to sit in a windowless room and do my schoolwork. All my schoolwork is done in this room, and I get paid, and I have a waiver of tuition. That's an assistantship. It's a full waiver of tuition plus a stipend in return for a part-time job. That's the way to look at them. They're different. You have to find out how they differ. I'm going kind of fast because I'm supposed to break for Q&A. Next is scholarships, which are not called scholarships. Oh, ask me about financial aid in just a moment. They're not called scholarships at the graduate level. They're called grants and fellowships. They just don't use that term scholarships very much. Hot tip. If you're in STEM, you're expected to apply for 3 or 4 scholarships as part of applying to graduate school. And if you don't, you're considered to be a dud, okay? So if you have great grades and great scores and you don't apply for third-party scholarships in STEM, you're considered to be a dud. So I need you to be applying for them. I'm going to give you a list of resources. UCLA has on their website a big, huge, massive database of these scholarships. And you find it by Googling UCLA and then the acronym GRAPES, all caps, G-R-A-P-E-S, GRAPES. That database is free and open to all students. It's a fantastic resource. They're going to close it up someday, but they don't so far. So UCLA GRAPES. Next, finaid.org. That's F-I-N-A-I-D, finaid.org. Next, a book called The Best Scholarships for the Best Students. Fantastic book written by me. No, I wrote it with 2 other people that were better than I. The Best Scholarships for the Best Students. It's a book of portals. It's not a book of scholarships. It's a book of portals. And each portal could have gazillions of awards. So you're going to apply for 3 or 4 third-party scholarships. Those of you that are applying this year, that's one of the things you need to do tonight is go home, Google UCLA GRAPES. Those of you in the humanities, there's a book called Funding Your Humanities PhD. Funding Your Humanities PhD. That's an Amazon book. It's $4.95, worth every penny. It's only an e-version. There is no written book available. It was written by a faculty member. I met him. He's got it. It's a fantastic book. So those are a few funding sources. Did you have a question? Financial aid at the graduate level means loans. Never ask about financial aid because you just asked for a loan. So if you say, what kind of financial aid do you have? You just asked for a loan, and they will send you to the financial aid officer, and she's a loan officer. She's like a drug pusher for money. She's got one tool to solve all problems with, and if you go down and sit with her, she will loan you $20,500 a year, and you're going to be deep in debt really fast. Never talk to her. If they say, would you like to meet the financial aid officer? You say, I would rather die first. I want to go to grad school for free. I had a friend, listen to this, okay? She got into USC with no funding for the PhD. She borrowed her way through the first semester. She said, I had no plan for the second semester. When she got to USC, she haunted the faculty. And by the way, this was in higher ed administration, which is often not fully funded. So she haunted the faculty. Dr. Wilson, do you have anything I could do for you? I'll check back tomorrow. Dr. Johnson, was there anything, I watched your pickup on the way up to this meeting. Do you have anything I can do for you? She said by the end of the first semester, she had 5 revenue streams. She saved money while she was in the PhD program, didn't pay for anything after the first semester. With the money that she saved while she was in the PhD program, she had enough for a down payment, and she bought a house. And with a house and a PhD, she was able to attract a husband. I saw him. He's real. Okay? One more thing. When you're filling out these applications, you guys, a friend of mine, she was filling out an application to NYU, and she comes to this screen, and it said, what forms of funding and support would you like to be considered for? And she told me it was getting near the deadline. I didn't want to look all this stuff up. She said, I just checked everything. And she won something called Faculty Scholar. So the entire application process was to check that box. What was the value of that thing? $100,000. It was 2 years of a waiver of tuition and $30,000 divided 15 grand first year, 15 grand the second year. The entire application procedure was to check the box. So my recommendation to you, write this down, check the box. I want to bring up something about assistantships, and then we're going straight into Q&A. It's not the best students who get assistantships. It's the students who bug the faculty a little bit, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. It's not the best. Here's the best student we have, but she's not bugging us. So we're going to give the assistantship to this guy because he's seen her every day. He came in here last week and he said, hey, you know that person that you have at the front desk that's supposed to be watching the front desk? She's like late every day, okay? I've been here 3 times this week. I haven't seen her. I heard people don't even like her. I heard her tires were slashed. I think you should give that assignment to me because I am reliable and I have been here. I don't know what her problem is. Okay, that's who gets assistantships. You've got to be in faculty faces a tiny little bit to get these things. Oh, and one more thing, and then we are going to Q&A. If you're invited to anything in the spring, it's not optional. If you're invited to a reception, a meeting, a walkthrough, a tour, a meet and greet, anything in the spring, if you skip it, you just gave away your funding. So you must go. A friend called me up. He said, Don, my wife is due to have a baby right in the middle of meet and greet season. I said, Scott, your wife will have other babies. You cannot skip meet and greet season. So if you're invited in the spring, you'll go. Take your wife with you.